Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here with a book haul for you guys. Where have I gotten these books? Okay, one was a Mother's Day gift, so I've been sitting on it for a little bit. And then for the rest I think, I went on a date with myself one day. I just needed some solitude because as much as I love my family, sometimes I like to just do things on my own. And of course, the number one thing I like to do anytime I'm on a date ever, whether alone or with someone, is to go book shopping. So that's what I did. I went book shopping and it was amazing because I could just browse all I wanted and I didn't feel rushed or have anybody awkwardly standing by me like, can we leave now? I could just take my time and it was great. So I highly recommend going on a date with yourself. Get dressed up and go do something that you enjoy doing by yourself. It's great. It's great. So, okay. Yeah, let's get into the book haul. So the first book that I want to show you is one that I got as a Mother's Day gift from my wonderful family. They picked up I Am the Rage by Dr. Martina McGowan. This is a poetry collection, and what basically had me add this to my want to read list was I read the back, which is a poem called I Am the Rage, and I really loved the way it was structured and everything. So I wanted to check out the rest of the poems. Dr. Martina McGowan is a gynecologist, but also an activist. And yeah, this sounds like a great collection and I'm really looking forward to reading it. Okay, so then before I get into my stack that I got when I went on my book date with my book shopping date with myself, I picked up this book. Again, the bargain bin at the grocery store. I tell you, I find some gems there, I really do. This time I found The World of Lore, Wicked Mortals by Erin Menke. This is the podcast Lore that is hosted by Erin Menke is a podcast that I have enjoyed for quite a few years. It focuses, I believe it's a bi-weekly, and it deals with all kinds of different topics dealing with folklore, but also just like anything kind of creepy or macabre. And it's a great podcast all around. Because Erin Menke's voice is great, and then there's this awesome music that accompanies the stories, and it's just really cool. So when I saw this in the bargain bin, I had to pick it up. This one, I believe, judging by the title, Wicked Mortals, it deals with real life monsters. So probably like, you know, serial murderers and things, people that did bad things. So yeah, I'm excited to check this out. I think this would be a fun read really any time of year because it's one I think that you can really dip in and out of because it's kind of like a anthology sort of thing. So yeah, I was really happy to find this at the grocery store. All right, so the rest of the books I'm going to mention here were ones that I got when I went on my little book date with myself, and because of the time of day and everything that I went, I could only go to the two bookstores closest to me, which even then they're about a 30-minute drive. And unfortunately, yeah, they're not independent bookstores in my area. There just aren't a lot of those, and the ones that are around are at least 45 minutes away, and they all close at like 5 o'clock. So I didn't get out and about until about 4:30. So I couldn't really venture out to any of those places, though I would love to be able to support them. It just didn't work out this time. So this time around I went to Barnes & Noble and Second & Charles because those are the two closest to me. And so first I went to Barnes & Noble, and basically when I go to Barnes & Noble I always have a kind of a method to my shopping there. Typically I always, if they have like a deal going on, like a buy two get one free or buy one get one sort of deal, I always check those out. And then of course I always check out the clearance section. But otherwise I don't tend to want to buy books at Barnes & Noble because as much as I love books, I don't like paying full price for books. And if you go to Barnes & Noble, you're going to pay full price for books, unless you get one of those deals. So I did find 2 books though that were part of a buy one get one half off deal. They're paperbacks. I love paperbacks, and these are 2 books that are on my TBR. And so yeah, so the first one that I picked up is a book called On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, and this is I believe it has a coming of age element. It deals with a young man named Little Dog, the book is told through him writing a letter to his mother who cannot read. And he was raised by her, she was a single mom, and I believe they both immigrated to America from Vietnam. And so he grew up in America but was born in Vietnam, and it's just about him being raised by his mother, and the book is this letter that he's writing to her. And I heard about this book from Cree Miles over on Instagram a while back. I think she did there was like a book club or something that she was hosting, and this was the book. And when I heard her talk about it, post about it, I put it on my TBR. So yeah, I've heard this is beautifully written. It seems like it's going to be really good. It ticks some boxes for me, especially if it has that coming of age element. And yeah, I saw it on the buy one get one, and I had to pick it up. So the other one that I picked up from the buy one get one half off table is another one that I saw on Instagram. This time it was from Tracy over at the Stacks podcast. Her Instagram for the podcast is called the Stacks Pod, and I don't know if this was a book club pick or if she just read it and posted about it, but when I read her posts and stuff, I put it on my TBR because it sounds really interesting, really cool, and it is called Long Division by Kiese Lehman. And this is a coming of age story, so that was what grabbed me. But what's interesting about this one is the format in which it's told. There's 2 stories going on. So if you look at the book, the first kind of story starts here and takes you to about the middle, and then to read the other story, you have to flip the book around and read it from this way. And both stories center around a young man named Sidian Coldson, who goes by City Coldson. And he's 14 years old, and something happens. I'm not sure if it tells you. Okay, he becomes an overnight sort of YouTube celebrity because of this YouTube video that goes viral. And he, because of it, is sent to live with his grandmother in Mississippi, and this is post Hurricane Katrina. And he goes down there to live with his grandmother, and in their town there is a girl named, one second, there is a girl named Bae Shepherd who has gone missing, and that kind of becomes sort of some sort of element of the plot. He also, before he leaves, comes into possession of this book called Long Division that doesn't have an author. It's very mysterious, and the main character in the book is called City Coldson, which is interesting because that's his name, right? But this story takes place in 1985, so way in the past. And I guess the 2 stories sort of converge. I think that's what happens here where the book splits. You get both of those timelines, but in different, in a different way. And so yeah, there is a coming of age element. There is a bit of, I believe, magical realism going on. And then it also has a lot of commentary, social commentary, and about racism and things like that. And yeah, this book sounds really cool. Like I said, the storytelling format really has me intrigued, and I really am excited to check it out. So then I went over to Second & Charles, and my thing about Second & Charles is typically when I go to Second & Charles, I am looking for used books because, like I said, I don't like to pay full price for books if I can help it. And I kind of, the way Second & Charles is set up, I don't know if any of you have ever been to a Second & Charles. There are records there, CDs, movies, and then the books are kind of all just alphabetized by author, just like your general fiction, nonfiction, and then there's it's kind of separated by genre, except like the fiction is just all together. So, and then the graphic novels are in their own section. So typically I when I go to Second and Charles, my mode of attack is I always go and look at the graphic novels to see if there's any that are jumping out at me. And I always look at the little tables that they have at the front, because if they have a cool display, I'll check that out. And then I typically just am looking for certain authors when I go there, because otherwise I would be in there all day long just going through every single aisle of books. So I did pick up a few things this go around. The first stop I made was I went right to the graphic novels, and I was so excited to find that they had not only volume 7 of Saga, but volume 8 and volume 9 by Brian K. Vaughan. These are the last 3 volumes that I have to get, and they're all used. So I paid $7 for each of these. Typically they are listed at $15, and they had all 3 of them. What are the odds of that happening? So I was super geeked about that, because I always check and normally they don't have them. So yeah, all 3 of them. Got those, so excited to be finishing or getting caught up with the series. The series, I believe, is not completed. So yes, I have volume 6 still to read, but now I'm excited that I have these ones all lined up, ready to go, so I can read them when it's time. Yes, and then I went over to the middle grade section because, as you guys know, Leia and I have been reading the middle grade series Warriors. There's a ton of books in that series, but we are focusing on the very first series that came out, which is called The Prophecy Begins or something like that. Yes, The Prophecies Begin. And we've read the first 4 books in that series. There are 6 books total. And so I was like, on a whim, let me see if they have books 5 and 6. And they did. They had books 5 and 6. So book 5 is called The Dangerous Path. I paid $3 for this one. And then book 6, The Darkest Hour, was only $1.50. And it's in like really good shape. Like, I was really surprised and really happy, because now Leia and I can complete this series together. We're super excited to see how everything's gonna pan out with Fireheart and the rest of the gang in the Warrior series. So yes, I got that. Okay, and then the last thing I have a little story to kind of go with this last book. And I'm gonna need your guys' input as well. So, okay. When I went to Barnes & Noble, they had a small horror section. And of course I always have to check out the horror section, but it's only about a 4-foot section. And of course, in that section, half of the books are Stephen King books. It's just the way it is. Even though there are tons and tons of horror authors out there, Stephen King always dominates those shelves, right? So like half the books were Stephen King books. But then there was this other author that seemed to be taking up a lot of shelf space as well. There were quite a few books by this author, and I was like, who is this? And I'm not gonna say who it is just yet. So I looked at a couple, okay, you know, I'm not gonna buy these. So then I go over to Second and Charles, same thing, they have a little horror table set up. Same setup, half the books are Stephen King books. But then about a quarter of the other half, so half of the other half, was this author again. And it got me thinking, because I remembered Carol from Carol Marie Reads had recently read a book by this author. And I was intrigued. And the author is Darcy Coates, okay? And they're all like, the haunting of this house, the haunting of that house, the haunting, the haunting, the haunting. And there were so many, I was overwhelmed. And also like, why haven't I read any of these books? Am I missing out on something? So, on a whim, I picked one up, read the synopsis. It sounded good to me, because it's a haunted house story. I love haunted house stories. And so yeah, I picked up The Haunting of Gillespie House by Darcy Coates. And this was just basically about a girl who moves into an old haunted mansion, and horror ensues. But like I said, there's so many books that are literally The Haunting of blank house by this author. And so my question to you all is, have I been living under a rock and I've been missing out on some good horror? Or what's with all these Darcy Coates books? Am I missing out? Did I make a mistake in buying this book? Because I did pay full price for this, because I did want to try it out. So yeah, all of you horror readers out there, let me know if you've read any Darcy Coates. I remember Carol saying in her review, I don't even remember which book she read, but I remember her saying that it was fun and entertaining, but she's like never given one of her books higher than like a 4-star or something like that. But she said they are fun to read. There were parts that creeped her out and everything. So, and I respect Carol's opinions, and especially when it comes to horror. So I'm like, okay, if it creeped her out, it's probably gonna creep me out. So yeah, let me know if you've read any more of these Darcy Coates books. Where should I go in terms of picking any more of them up? Which ones should I gravitate towards? Because like I said, there were a ton. And it was just weird that I've never really heard of her. And she was like taking up like almost half the horror table. It was really weird at both places. She was like dominating those shelves. And so, and I know that that doesn't necessarily mean that they're any good, but I'm intrigued. I want to know. So I'm gonna give this one a go. I'll let you guys know how it is. And in the meantime, yeah, let me know if I made a mistake in buying this book or if I should definitely try to get more of her other books. Okay, so sorry that this was sort of a long-winded book haul. Wow. I guess I was feeling chatty today. But anyways, let me know down below if you've read any of these books, especially the Darcy Coates. Let me know which ones I should prioritize. And let me know if you've bought any good books lately, because I would love to know that too. All right, that's all I have for today, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I will talk with you soon. Thank you so much for watching.